Alright, so we here. Shout out to the people coming in. This is gonna be pre-recorded. It's blackout, early morning. You know, I had something on my mind. I'm started doing a lot of pre-records because sometimes I just can't go live like I used to, man. Work is permitting to be overwhelming right now, and so we're going live. I should have actually did a couple of things. I put a camera in my car. Shout out to DJ Ron, the mechanic. He was talking about that everybody should have these in their cars, these cameras. And when that situation happened, which I found out the true story about that for those that don't know, about the guy shooting the so-called Uber driver. And they profiled it as a racial thing. The way the media twist things, it was so bad. Come to find out, this old man was just shooting the lady because he thought she was part of a kidnapping, which, if it was true or not, it still is wrong for him to shoot her. But the point of it was, he thought she was part of a kidnapping for kidnapping his grandson. So that's why he was so aggressive with her like that. But they profiled it to be so racist. And a lot of people, like even with me, the first thing I thought about, man, this guy's racist all outdoors. The media put it that way. Social media pushed it that way. And nobody's came out with the truth. Nobody. You just living life as a lie. Pushing these narratives is crazy. But it's not what this is about. It's about you not liking money. So we're going to start with the basics. You have people, and I use this from a reference because I seen this on YouTube, where debt is going to be inevitable for most people. They're going to always have a lot more debt than others because they haven't been taught how to use money. Even if your family has money, do they really even know how to use the money that they have? Are they teaching the kids? Are they, having sit downs and talking with them about stuff? Literally, this guy went into debt from having a gas card, and it just spiraled from there. Just literally getting a gas card. One of my friends, he did the same thing. He went, turned 18, got a gas card, turned around, got a Macy's card, got a credit card, and he was in rotation paying that stuff off with the credit card. Or he'll put a little money down on that. And before you know it, it got ran up so much, man. Macy's card, he had decent credit, so they gave him $1,000 credit card. His limit was probably like $2,000-$3,000. Decent on the credit. And it got to the point where I think the gas card was what, 500 something, it wasn't $1,000, it was like 500 or 300 something. And he maxed everything out. Because the old saying, robbing Peter to pay Paul. I just put a little bit here. I just put a little bit there. He had gas in his car, nice clothes, could afford like a meal at McDonald's. They didn't match up. But, a lot of people just don't know how to properly use money. That's why they have a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to money, because nobody never taught you this stuff. Going back to the root of it, even saving. When kids get allowance, you're taught to save your money if you want to buy something, but then the parents will still buy it for you. So it actually defeats the purpose. My son now wants a gaming laptop or a gaming desktop now. And I'm like, well, you buying that on your own. And, I'll cut you a deal. We'll work something out. If You get majority of the money, I'll help you with the rest. But the point of it is, you got to save more on your side than me. You know, when it comes down to it, I let my son know that, hey, you wanted this laptop. I told you to get a desktop because you wanted to be mobile. Now, you got the laptop and it's cool, but the desktop has way more power, which I explained to him. So now he's in a situation where he wants to sell his laptop, get a better desktop, and just mostly try to game at home, which he could keep the laptop when he's on the road. That was his whole reason for having that. When he's on the road, they can game in other areas and places and stuff. But overall, I'm expressing to him, save your money. Like, when you want all these other stuff, want to go hang out, want to go. The other day, my son bought DoorDash, didn't tell us nothing. He had some money on his card and he went and bought DoorDash. He paid $25 for one Chick-fil-A meal. Me and my wife was like, what in the world? Even his brother was like, that's crazy. You could just got mom and daddy to take you there. He only spent about $8, $9 for that meal. He's like, that's crazy. I would have never did that. But point of reference, you know, the value of money. And this is one of my sons that truly don't know the value of money because he's bad with math. Needless to say. Sorry about that. The background noise y'all hear, that was a Mustang doing what they do best, tearing up the road. But he is literally bad with money because he's bad at math. You know? And more or less, with him learning the process on how math and how money works, it's triggering to him because he look at it as, we got money. You know, and the old saying goes, I got money, you don't have money. You want to get to my level. You know, and so we always have to constantly, you know, remind him, we work, have a job, and we pay you an allowance. And that poses a big problem for him because he's looking to spend from our account versus spending what he has. And some parents never teach their kids that. You know, some parents give their kids the world to make them be obedient to them. And then in the end, these kids are not really learning everything because mom and dad gonna buy everything. You know, when it come down to it, situations present itself, hey, it is what it is. You know, a lot of times when it comes to money, man, it's just no way out. Your parents never taught you anything. One lady I seen a video where she had went and did a payday loan. The payday loan, I think it was like 38 or 48%. So basically it's almost about half of what she borrowed. She borrowed $300. And she was having to pay $450, close to $5 with all the little taxes and stuff. And, you know, she was on track paying it little by little. Got behind on a couple of payments, and they was knocking on the door. And she was like, man, I'm ducking them like a bill collector, you know, called you on the phone and stuff. So she was mad about that. And it got to the point, she was like, when I finished paying them off, if I didn't have the money, I just was going to go broke. But what about savings? What about family? You know, that's the whole point of you burning your bridges with people to where nobody wants to deal with you. Oh, don't mess with Rashid. Rashid don't pay back money. So if you give him $50, he gonna take his precious time giving you the money back. If he say he'll give it to you next week, that means he'll give it to you the next 2 months. You know, everybody has that uncle, that cousin, somebody you know in your family that don't respect your time and money. When it's convenient for them to get the money, they willing and able to reach out their hand and grab that money, but it's not a convenience for them to actually pay the money back. And then you'll have the situations where a lot of times, hey, once again, going back to my son, you got money, what's wrong? My money is my money. I used to have an old saying when actually when I started making a lot of money and I was young, but a lot of people see me just spend money foolishly, but I would always say, don't pimp my money. Don't tell me what to do with my money that I work for. Don't tell me how to, give people money or do stuff for people. It's my money. I work for it. That's what I do. And the crazy part about it, at the end of the day, a lot of people, they see people with money. Like, for instance, what's the guy name? Jeff Bezos. Nope, it's the other one. What's the guy that runs Tesla? Elon. So Elon is up there in the billions. What was it? I think it was Elon. Elon has the most money. And so the one guy was saying that Elon has enough money to give everybody in the world at least about, I think, what was it, $7 million or something like that? Because he has a couple of billion. And it was to the point where he can give everybody in the world, I think it was like either $1 million or 700 million, or 7 million. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. But the point of reference is, why does he have to do that? Just because he has the money, he have to do the charitable thing, because it's not the right thing to do to give people money. It's a charitable thing, This guy worked hard. He did a lot of sacrificing, The Kobe reference, he wasn't with me shooting in the gym. Nobody was with him when he was studying, doing all this stuff to, make the money, taking courses in college, in his high school, even at his first job or situation that he had at a company he started. Nobody was there from the grassroots, but yet they want the fruits of the labor off of what he does, and that's the thing. That's where it goes back to you not really knowing about money, so not having an understanding, working hard for your money, and you're born with a silver spoon. It's a bad thing for most cases, most people's lives, because if they don't know how to actually use that, it's a bad thing for them. They don't know the struggle is real sometimes. It's a bad thing. People who are born with money, if they're not taught to be grateful and having an understanding of money, like it will turn out to be a bad thing. What is the Rothschilds compared to the Vanderbilts? The Rothschilds, their legacy of family still has money now. The Vanderbilts, I think the first Vanderbilt died broke in the turn of the century. Was it the century of the 2000s? I think that's when they died broke. One of the Vanderbilts died broke. In the 90s, they still had a little money. 80s and all that, because in the 1800s, they were the richest family in the world, Craig. And now, they're broke. Look at how the Rockefellers took advantage of life insurance. Taught their family knowledge, taught their generations, each generation, how to save, how to invest. I was talking to one of my coworkers, we was having a conversation about money. He was saying how when it came down to it, one of the families got an inheritance, and when a family member died, they took all that money and put it in the stock market. They put like millions of dollars in the stock market, to where every generation a kid gets like anywhere from $500,000 to $1,000,000 because they made all that money, taking a risk. I was telling my wife, I was like, if I run into a lot of money, I got two options. Let's say I either pay the house off and then we don't have no more mortgage, or I sit there, take the money and invest it in something and make even 10 times more money and then pay the mortgage off. Or I could do the foolish route, take the money, buy me a new car, buy me some clothes and shoes, take vacations and wild out till the money's gone. That's the thing. When you learning about money, if you have a little understanding about money, you'll want to go and learn a little more. Like taking that money and investing it long term, then you can ball out and have the vacation. I have a friend, man, this guy is a miser. But at the same time, he doesn't live above his means. He sticks to a standard of which he's saving, he's investing, everything that I'm pretty much, talking about. Well, even with me, sometimes I drop the ball. I don't put money in my savings every week. I pay myself a little bit too much sometimes. So I have to always negotiate my scale. But, with my friend, he pretty much got it leveled out. And he didn't come from money as well as I. His mom didn't teach him. His dad didn't teach him. His dad made money, but his dad was up and down. We conversations all the time. And what gave him a sense of knowing money so he wouldn't be scared, knew how to save, wouldn't, be foolish with money, is the teachings. He went out and sought out the knowledge. When it came down to it, he had friends that was in the military talking with him. He had family members that actually had money, told him, these are the things that you invest. Your mom and dad never really set you down and told you this stuff, but, look at my kids. Look how they live. Don't you want to live like that? And it literally got to the point where he was like, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go with this narrative. I'm going to get this done. And it worked out. That's the biggest thing with a lot of us, man. We so focused on the bare bones, like, oh man, I ain't come for money, so this is going to be something that's going to burden me for the rest of my life. If you say so. But in actuality, a lot of times, man, people just don't know. And you thinking this stuff gonna burden you for the rest of your life. It's not. You can learn to be better. You know how many people learn how to not foolishly throw away their money? You know how many people learn how to not, get themselves crippled by, not taking risks, not investing, not in doing the right thing for themselves? Like, you know how many people learn this stuff over time where it was so easy for them? Where a lot of people's like, man, I'll never be a savvy investor. All these people making bundles and bundles. Prime example, Warren Buffett started off just investing in small penny stocks and going up, and he made his money from there. And it's like with a lot of us, man, we don't take the initiative to look what's out there to help and benefit us. And so that's why we're stuck at a loss. Make sure I get that. And when it comes down to it, man, overall, like I'm always keep saying this, learning a budget. Shout out to Gold Professor with the 9 laws of self-government. Discipline. A lot of people lose sight of goals because of the discipline. That's why most people can't lose weight, because they like to eat. If you like your life better, you'll change your habits. You'll slow down the process of eating as much. take on a diet, just walking. I just want people to be healthy. I'm a big dude myself. No joke. I've always been big when I was younger. As I got up into high school, I started, keeping myself slim because I wrestled and I had to maintain a certain weight. As soon as I got out, I maintained that weight real good because I worked out, jogged, all this stuff. Went and coached kids in wrestling. And at one point, I think it was like a little bit before I got married, I started gaining a little weight. Then when I got married, I started gaining a little more weight. And, little weight. Before I know it, I was stacked. I like my size, but I'd rather be more healthy than to have this big, bold look. Because my thing is, I still run, I still exercise, still do stuff, but the wear and tear on my knees for what I do, at my job, it plays a part with your weight. My health long term, it'll be an issue with weight. So that's why I want to focus on being a better me, physically, mentally, and when gaining money, getting the knowledge. All this stuff goes and plays a big part in your life. I was listening to this lady and she was saying that once you have a knowledge and a thirst of, improving yourself, everything falls in place. She said, even about religion, relationships, all these things. If you don't have nothing, but you have yourself and you're strong and confident in yourself, everything will work itself out. I sit there and be like, man, I can't lose the weight, I'm this and that. When you literally believe in yourself, you'll find ways to make it happen. You'll find ways to make it work. People who are broke and they get up long term and, man, just become a billionaire, millionaire. It was that hard work and dedication. It wasn't the point of, man, shoot, man, life is hard. Oh, man, it wasn't nowhere near that. It's a point to where you got to make it be known for yourself that, hey, I want some things done. If I want it done, I'm going to have to get to it. I'm going to have to put myself in position to win. And that's where a lot of people, continuously falling short of the glory because they don't put in the work. You're not out here researching it. Prime example of Love Dorsey, she was saying, and I'm going to get ready to get off of here. There's people, when they actually, do the improvement on themselves, self-improvement, and they get themselves out of this rut of being depressed all the time. They get themselves out of situations to where, they feel a certain way. They don't want to go back to that. They genuinely are just like I said this yesterday, are just like marine biologists. You think a marine biologist jumped up and was like, man, I don't really like the water, but man, I'm finna go in here and give it a shot. I don't like animals, but I'm gonna go out here and give it a shot. No, they found a love for it. And it's not something you're born with. You actually find a love for a sport, a love for something to the point where you feel like you just can't take your hands off of it. And literally, that's what's going on with people and money. That's what's going on with people and, fixing their selves, they're fixing their health, they're fixing their relationship, they're working on their trauma. It's a lot of times, man, you open your eyes to this and be like, man, I don't want to live like this anymore. I want my life to be better. And why is that? Because you are taking the initiative to say, man, look, I want to do better for myself. I want to do more for myself. And me doing better and more for myself is actually taking the time and learning about things about what? That can help me heal. A lot of people, the first step in growth, the first step in healing, is, getting past certain issues. And a lot of people, they don't get past those small, minute little issues, and they become bigger and bigger. It sets mindsets of depression, everything. And overall, if you ain't got no understanding about the small things, you definitely not going to have a understanding about the big things. When it comes to money, if you don't understand certain things, money is going to be like literally the last thing that is influence for you. That's real big for you. But needless to say, I'm about to get off of here. Shout out to everybody that came through. You know what I always say when we get in and get out of here? We here and we gone. Peace.